let's look at what you do if now you've got your hangers in the wall and then you realize, oh no, the thing that I want to hang doesn't have a way to hang it, and I don't just want to hang it on bare screws. I find that it's best often to put the hanger about 1/3 of the way from the top. Now with this, it's light enough that I could pound in these tiny little hangers, and you can put them, it's your preference. You know, if you have the option, you know, you can put them on the back if you prefer to put them there, or you can put them on the inside if you prefer to put them there. For me, if I have the option, I like my things to sit flush against the wall, so I'll be putting them on the inside edges. But I'm not going to use those because those are real easy and you can just pound in the little nails. I'm going to do these bigger ones, which are definitely overkill for this particular panel. So what I'm going to do is, let's see, so like I said, about 1/3 of the way down is where you want to put your hangers. So I'm going to measure 4 inches. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to mark off 4 inches there. And I'm marking it on the inside. I'm going to go ahead and mark it on either side just so I don't have to stop and do it again. And what I generally do is I line up. So it's flush with the edge, and instead of trying to just drill or screw in there, like I said, I like to pre-drill. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go and mark where these holes are, and now I know where to pre-drill. And anytime you drill, you want to put your drill on high because it makes it turn faster. If you have it on low, you're pretty much never going to get your holes drilled. So now I'm just going to drill a little bit into those holes that I marked. Not a whole lot, it doesn't take a whole lot. Keep your fingers out of the way, you don't want to drill your fingers. Okay, putting it on slower because I don't like to drill my screws in really fast. And now just getting both of them in just a little bit of the way so that I don't have to hold on to it. Okay. And now I have one ring in. So I'm going to go ahead and use my mirror wire, because even though, like I said, this is overkill, since I used the giant D rings, I'm going to go ahead and use the giant wire. So what you'll want to do, I always wait to cut my wire until I've done the first round. And the best way to do this, to make sure it doesn't come out of the loop, is to run it through there. And a good friend taught me this, and it's really come in handy. And then loop it through again. And then do your little twist around it. Okay, and this is, I have never ever had a wire come loose, and I have been doing this for quite a long time whenever I do it this way, as long as you double loop it. So whenever you stretch your wire across, you generally don't want to leave it with any give because it is wire, so it's going to stretch. So just get it as tight across there as you can, and just go ahead and guesstimate how much extra you're going to need according to about how much you used over there. So that's about what I think, and if you get a little extra, it's okay. All you have to do is wrap it. You can also tape up these ends, because these ends where the wire is are a little bit sharp, so you can just put a little bit of tape around them. But now you have a nice little, see, even though I tried to pull that tight, it still has some give. So now you have a nice little way to hang. So now you know how to hang your hanger in the drywall, and you know how to wire a piece across the back. But how do you figure out how high to hang a piece so that you're not putting a million holes in your wall? Because that really sucks when that happens. Now, if you have a fireplace that you're hanging over, or a sofa or something like that, well, that's easy. You'd hang it in relation to to the furniture or to the opening or whatever. But say that you just have a blank wall and you're wanting to hang a piece on it, how do you know how high to do it? Well, the museum standard for hanging is 60-inch centers. Now what that means is that the very centermost point of a piece will be 60 inches from the ground. Now some people use 58. I'm tall, so I find 58 to be a little bit low. So I always do 60, and most places do 60. Now, if you find that it needs to come up or down a little bit, you can always do it, you know, you can always move a piece in relation to whatever you think it needs. But 60 inches is a pretty good rule. So how do you find a 60-inch center? Well, it's really not that hard. Math parts aren't my favorite things, but it's really not that bad. So first you want to measure how tall the piece is. In this case, this piece is 32 inches. So that means half of 32 is 16. So that means that this point right here, 16 inches, should be 60 inches from the floor, right? Okay, well that's easy. So I just put a nail at 60 inches. No, because you have to remember, you've got a wire across the back. So we have to deal with that. But we want to keep in mind, in this case, it is 16 inches. Okay, so here's our wire. And as you see, I taped my ends on this because sometimes I do that. So what we want to do is we want to find out exactly how far from the top this wire goes. And the reason being is that we need to subtract this amount out, right? So this wire is 4 inches from the top. Well, that means that this wire, whenever it hangs on, say if it's on one hanger, which it will be, because that's my plan, that means that this point is 12 inches from that 60-inch center. So since the center is 16 inches, this is 4 inches from the top. 4 and 12 makes 16, so that means 16. So what that means is that the 12 inches that's between here and here needs to be added to 60. So if we put in our hanger at 72 inches from the ground, then that means that this point will be at 60 inches. Got it? The picture that I'm hanging today, I measured the frame to be 40 inches tall. So that means that the center is at 20 inches. Now the wire actually comes 1.5 inches from the top. So that means that I need to add 18.5 inches, 60, which means I will be hanging at 78.5 inches. That means 78.5 inches from the ground. So I'm measuring up 78.5. It's a little over my head, and I'm tall, but that's pretty tall. And I put it a little far over to the right. I really wanted that picture to go further over to the left, so I just lined up and put another mark further over to the left. And now I'm gonna grab my drill gun so that I can drill a starter hole in the wall for the anchor that I'm going to use. And I'm using a medium-sized anchor. This picture weighs probably about 40 pounds, so I'm using the 50 to 60 pound anchor. Get that screwed in. That was the the medium self-drilling anchor, by the way. And now I'm using the regular screw for it because the screw does stick out far enough for me to hang my picture on. See, I left a little bit hanging out there. Making sure that I got it hooked on the screw because it would be terrible to let it go and watch it crash to the floor. Now I get back and I see, oh, look how crooked it is. So let's straighten that up, and it's done. And that was all done in less than 3 minutes. 3 minutes! So I hope that you enjoyed learning about how to hang things in drywall, and that you'll feel confident about doing stuff whenever you need to hang anything, and that you don't have to wait on someone else like a monkey to do it.
It's on.
And I hope that maybe you'll join me next time. Monkey permitting, of course. No, monkey! Monkey, get away from the camera! No, monkey! No, monkey!